Well, everybody knows about the Signal group chat discussing bombing the Houthis that somehow Trump hater Jeffrey Goldberg was attached to. Now, let me tell you my initial instinct. It's so unbelievable, it can't be real. The most Trump hating journalist out there, the man who made up their suckers hoax in reference to those who fought in World War II when Trump was visiting a cemetery, I believe it was in France, the man who propagates the fine people hoax, just virulently anti-Trump, somehow attached in the group. So it appears that it actually was real and that my initial instinct was proven to be miscalculated or incorrect, or maybe they're just trying to shepherd a narrative via Jeffrey Goldberg. Nevertheless, I really want to take a look at what Mike Waltz discussed with Laura Ingraham.
And here we go.
Us now. One of the principals who was on that Signal chat, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Advisor Waltz, thank you for joining us tonight. The president expressed complete confidence in you today and his entire cabinet. But how did a Trump-hating editor of The Atlantic end up on your Signal chat?
The right question.
You know, Laura, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all the people out there, somehow this guy who has lied about the president, who has lied to Gold Star families, lied to their attorneys, and gone to Russia hoax, gone to just all kinds of links to lie and smear the president of the United States, and he's the one that somehow gets on somebody's contact and then gets sucked into this group.
Is someone in your intel? Is someone in your?
I don't understand this because apparently Mike Waltz was the person who allowed Jeffrey Goldberg onto the group chat. So there's something a little bit off here. I mean, it's fine to try to discredit the journalist, but the question is, how did he get there? And you're trying to blame conspiracy when it appears, at least from the intelligence and the information that I have, that Mike Waltz is the one who led him on.
Your intel team trying to cause trouble here, because that's the scuttlebutt out there.
Look,
that
we have people. No, look, this is a great group. The president has a great team. This is not first term.
No, your team. I'm not talking about the other principals.
No. These were principals and a couple of staff that were coordinating, as you saw, having a policy discussion as we went forward, and then just in the days before what was an incredible strike. Not only did we take out people that the Biden team never could, that we took out headquarters, missile caches, and actually one of the leaders of the Houthi organization, we've since taken out several since. And, that's what they don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the success here. They don't want to talk about.
Yeah, but the fact is that if the Democrats had leaked something similar and it had gone to a Joe Biden, Kamala hating journalists like Sean Hannity, people would be questioning the same thing. How did this end up with the individual, which is exactly what Laura's asking. I understand the deflection. You want to concentrate on what you consider to be a successful military action, but you still have to answer the question.
About the hostages getting released. They don't want to talk about the Black Sea ceasefire that we just put in place today as the president ends the largest land war in Europe, or the border, or the fact that Panama just kicked China out of the canal, and success after success after success. So they want to focus on this. It's embarrassing, yes. We're going to get to the bottom of it. I just talked to Elon on the way here. We've got the best technical minds looking at how this happened. But I can tell you for 100%, I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is the bottom scum of journalists. And I know him in the sense that he hates the president, but I don't.
Then how was his phone number added to this group? It came from you, Mike. If you don't know him, if you don't contact him, what's he doing on your phone?
Text him. He wasn't on my phone, and we're going to figure out.
You say he wasn't on your phone. How was he added?
Is responsible for this right now?
Well, look, a staffer wasn't responsible, and look, I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated.
But how did the number? I mean, I don't mean to be pedantic here, but how did the number?
Have you ever had somebody's contact that shows their name, and then you have somebody else's number there?
I never make those mistakes.
Right? You got
what? Okay, hold on. Freeze frame. I never make those mistakes. Okay, Laura, this is why Mike Waltz went to you. He could go to any journalist, and of course he's going to go to somebody who's friendly, and I don't blame him for that. But the fact is that it was somebody else's contact in your group, and you put the wrong number in, and it just happens to be Jonah Goldberg's, again, to reiterate, one of the most Trump-despising, never-Trumpers, liars out there, as you personally described. It just so randomly happened that Jonah Goldberg's 7-digit phone number, assuming that the area code was the same, which is certainly a possibility, ended up in your phone? Huh. I wonder. Actually, I wonder what his area code was, Jonah Goldberg's, and whether or not it's associated with a common area code for Washington, D.C. I have a California prefix to my phone number, and I'm in another country. So
somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now, whether he did it deliberately or it happened in some other technical mean is something we're trying to figure out.
So your staffer did not put his contact information.
No,
but how did it end up in your
well, that's
phone?
what we're trying to figure out.
Okay, but that's a pretty big problem.
That is what we've got.
That's
the
a huge
best
problem.
Minds, right?
That's disturbing.
And that's where, I mean, I'm sure.
I think that it's much more likely that it wasn't somebody who broke into your phone, entered Goldberg's number in, and then had him added to the group chat. I think this is kind of a you problem, Mike. I think that you're lying.
Everybody out there has had a contact where it was said one person and then a different phone number.
But you've never talked to him before, so how's the number on your phone? I mean, I'm not an expert in any of this, but it's just curious. How's the number on your phone?
Well, if you have somebody else's contact and then then somehow it gets
someone
sucked
sent
in,
you that
it gets
contact.
sucked in.
Was there someone else supposed to be on the chat that wasn't on the?
What? It gets sucked in? A phone number gets sucked in to the wrong contact? What? Somebody sent you his contact with Jonah Goldberg's number attached to it to try to get it added? I just don't see it.
The chat that you thought was
so
on
the
chat?
person that I thought was on there was never on there. It was.
Who were you trying to add?
Well, I'm not. Look, okay. Laura, I take responsibility. I built the group.
Okay.
So but look, that's the part that we have to.
If you build the chat, nobody else can add a different number other than the administrator. This is how most group chats work. It came from you. You're dodging the question. You're clearly lying.
Figure out. And that's the part that embarrassing, yes. But Pete and I are veterans. We know these operations. He has been an excellent Secretary of Defense. And this was an operation that, I mean, it amazes me. I guess the Democrats were fine to leave all the sea lanes shut down. We're fine to have destroyers fired on dozens of times by this terrorist group, and fine to have Iran keep supplying them missiles. That was okay. The president takes decisive action. And now we're seeing some real success in taking down their air defenses, opening the sea lanes, taking out their leadership. We don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about this.
Now, the Atlantic told us.
I get it, but this is a pretty embarrassing fall from grace, in my opinion, Mike.
Part that attempts to disparage and discredit us and our reporting follow an obvious playbook by elected officials and others in power who are hostile to journalists and First Amendment rights of all Americans.
They're describing the last administration for sure.
Your response to
that. Lied about Russia, lied about Gold Star families, lied about even as last year in terms of the president paying for the family of a Gold Star family that he absolutely did. I mean, lie after lie after lie.
Have they ever apologized for any of that?
No. I mean, this is, do we care about the mainstream media? Do we care about the Atlantic? What I care about is staying focused on mission, accomplishing the president's agenda, getting these things done, cleaning up the Biden messes from Afghanistan to Ukraine to the Houthis to the border to China all over.
This is great. I support you in that. And I still think you're lying.
South America, to the Arctic, where we're completely exposed, to NATO that's not paying up. And the president has had success after success.
Well,
he's got a fantastic national security team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just stunning how many people on the team have his 100% trust. And there have been enormous successes early on in this administration. But you all are rattling the old cages of the establishment, defense and national security, embedded people who are still working in government, a lot of great people. But the concern is that somebody got involved here who didn't want the president to be successful. And a lot of us are very concerned about that someone is in this orbit who doesn't want this president of the United States to be a raging success and turn our foreign policy into an America first approach.
Well, there's no doubt about that. In his last administration, there were multiple people that did everything that they could to undermine Trump's desires, his vision for the world and the United States. There's no doubt about that. And if this time Mike Waltz used to be the counterterrorism advisor to Dick Cheney, anybody associated with the Cheneys should be very suspect in terms of bringing on board when you had your pick of so many awesome people. Now, I don't know enough about Mike Waltz to decry him, but I do believe that he's lying right here. And the possibility is that either it was a mistake on their part. I don't know how that happens when Jonah Goldberg's number enters into your phone, or that somebody is trying to undermine you, or, and this is still a possibility, but I don't hold out as much hope for it as I did, they were trying to shepherd a story to the national press explaining the attack on the Houthis that Trump apparently, I think he went on Tim Pool a long time ago before the election, not that long ago, and said that he did not want to be bombing Yemen, etc. So maybe this was a way to shepherd a narrative where J.D. Vance looks pretty good, questioning at least, and explaining the rationale and getting all the free press for it. I don't know, but something is wrong here, and it definitely was not my first instinct that this was a complete fabrication by the media was incorrect, definitely. It's just one of those stories that just seems too good to be real. And when you say, oh my God, that's real, it usually isn't. So guys, I'm going to leave it right there. There's nothing further in the video that goes on for several minutes that should garner much attention. The bottom line is I absolutely believe that there's something rotten in the state of Denmark, so to speak, because I don't know how Jonah Goldberg's number got onto Mike Waltz's phone to begin with if he has absolutely no interaction with him. Now, you could have met potentially and just exchange numbers, but to randomly add Jonah Goldberg, the president's biggest detractor, to that list, there's just something way off here. And I would love it if you guys could conjecture about it in the comments section below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Mike Waltz is telling the truth? Is it like me? Do you think that he's lying? How did that number get here? Please lay your thoughts down on the proverbial computer paper in the comment section. Thumb up the video. Have a fantastic day. Peace.